subcommittee for SSB 3026. There's a few people online. Just those people online, if you have a question, raise your hand so we can get called on. Okay, so SSB 3026, the description. Currently, the bond issue, elections for political subdivisions are only allowed on one day a year. And it's the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. This bill would add a second date, that being June. Again, following the first Monday in June of every even numbered year. That's the description. The senators, do you have Guth? Senator Winckler, you have
interested in hearing what everybody has to say.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. That's what we'll do then. We'll start around the room. We have one of these that the microphone's not working. That one's working.
Good morning. Chelsea Hoy representing the Iowa League of Cities. We appreciate this legislation being brought forward. We support the bill.
Tom Cope here on behalf of several local government clients as well. I haven't formally registered yet on the bill, but we'll be registering in favor of it. The bill provides additional flexibility, which is important, while obviously maintaining the opportunity for voters to have an opportunity to have a good say in the process. So we think it's a good piece of legislation. Thank you.
Emily Piper representing the Iowa Association of School Boards. We also are registered in support of this bill. I just want to point out that what's happening with the consolidation of the bond elections in November and the impact it's having on school projects, it really comes down to money. There are not enough construction companies to meet that demand when everybody is in that one date and immediately ready to go to construction. It's giving less options for us in terms of getting bids because, frankly, if you're a smaller project, you're less likely to get a bid than you are to get a bigger project. That is not any kind of ding against the construction industry. That's just the reality of how it works out there. But more importantly, because everything is so condensed into a short period of time, we're having trouble getting architects and engineers that are available to do the schematics. And we're seeing prices increase because of that. It's really, I guess you could say it's a competitive marketplace. Giving districts the option of going to an election in June in even years would just, I think, help relieve some of the pressure that we're seeing in terms of being able to fulfill these building projects.
Dave Dotton, School Administrators of Iowa and Rural School Advocates of Iowa, are registered in support of the bill for all the reasons that have already been mentioned about flexibility and options for school districts, and also the potential to maybe reduce costs as we have more access to contractors. Again, we're in support of the bill.
Lucas Binkin with the Iowa State Association of Counties and the Iowa State Association of County Supervisors, both registered in favor for the reasons that my counterparts have already articulated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Doug Strike here on behalf of the Iowa State Association of County Auditors, the folks who would be conducting this election. To refresh everybody's recollection, this is a primary election, a partisan primary election. What do we do with no party voters? Are we going to have to register them, ask them to pick one party or the other and do the paperwork to have them then send us paperwork to pull back out of that? Are we going to have 3 ballots? We currently would have to have a Democrat primary ballot, a Republican primary ballot. This would now be a third no party ballot. Our tabulation software and equipment does not readily accommodate that. It is a programming nightmare. Our folks are registered in opposition to the bill because of those difficulties, not the merits of having more bond options, but merely the mechanics of doing it during a partisan primary election. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chair, members of the subcommittee. R.G. Schwarm here on behalf of the Iowa chapter of the American Institute of Architects. We are in support of this bill. We would echo many of the comments that have been said, but just in sum, by moving away from the single November election date, districts can align with Iowa's construction seasons, reduce industry bottlenecks, and ultimately save taxpayer dollars. Thank you.
Eric Kukin with the Secretary of State's office. Secretary Pate does not have a position on the bill at this point. However, we recognize some of the same challenges that Mr. Strike has pointed out. So that's for right now. We're just kind of monitoring.
Jake Highfield, Iowa Tax Relief. We are opposed to the bill. We've worked really hard to get down to 1 year. I'm willing to remember when they too scared of the voters is a good way to put it. They put the elections in March, snowstorm, have 8% turnout in Polk County for local option sales tax. I'm The reason we have November, people actually know. Nobody reads the local paper record anymore. I know we still have a business record, technically is what we have here in Polk County. So we're adamantly opposed. And also in Iowa, we have what we call as closed primaries. In the South, they have open primaries. Having about roughly one third Republicans, independents, and Democrats, obviously it's not perfect, but having those people who've never voted in June before, who've been lifelong independents and are very proud of that fact, show up in June, it'll just disenfranchise voters. It'll make them less likely to show up in the first place. So now you're targeting different people, what you do there. So we're adamantly opposed to the bill. We actually would even go farther, maybe do every other year for bond elections. If you're too scared of the voters, then take it back to the voters and actually sell your project.
Good morning. My name is Ben Hammis. I'm with the Master Builders of Iowa. I'm coming from a design and construction standpoint. I can't speak to the administrative challenges, recognizing I think those are things we could work through. The flexibility afforded to the public owners is what we're talking about here. We do experience builders that are in the K-12 arena, the market, that do not know if they're going to secure the job. So they will be chasing 4, 5, 6 opportunities with one November date, not knowing how many are going to be approved or ultimately thrown out. When you exist in that market, it creates incredible challenges with design from the architect standpoint, going through schematic design, design documents, construction documents, the whole process. More importantly, I think from us, from a price and cost containment and from a manpower perspective, we create significant challenges by having one opportunity for the voters to approve K-12 projects, city projects, county projects. Manpower becomes a serious issue for construction companies. So that's the perspective we come from. We are adamantly in support of the bill. And he's my partner.
Okay, I think that's it from the room. Anybody online that has a question or comment? Okay, definitely some good conversation and some questions that need to be answered. Some consideration needs to be done, but a lot of common sense there. And I am going to pass this out, recommending passage. There's probably some additional, like I said, questions that need to be answered about this, but we do want to push this forward and consider the conversation. So with that, I'll be signing off.
Yeah, I think I'll also sign off right now, but there's good discussion, and I think both sides have made good points, and I'll certainly be willing to entertain ideas for amendments or whatever that we might need on this, but I don't think I'm ready to see it die just yet.
I am not going to sign off only because I want to see what we do for a fix in regard to this. I think that the auditors have a serious issue in regard to it being a primary. If we wanted a second date, maybe we would change that, a second day when it would be another option for bonding. But I think putting it in the primary creates a number of situations that will only confuse voters, and but happy to work on it. I think the idea of a second date is good, absolutely, giving opportunities, but I do feel that putting it in June along with the primary is very problematic.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I certainly appreciate your comment and see why. Oh, no, we've already passed. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
To address your question, we had many conversations. What is the right second date?
Sure.
The conversation decided to go with the primary election because of the opportunity to voters have eyeballs on these types of projects. That was the reason it was chosen.
And that's exactly the reason I'm going to push it forward is we need to continue this conversation. I don't know if that's the best date to do it for a lot of the reasons that were given, but we definitely need to keep talking about this. All right. And with that, we'll conclude the subcommittee on SSB 3026. Thank you.
What do you do? I'll bring that up. Thank you.
Thanks.